Today, it's the battle for number 2 in college basketball. Georgia Tech is ranked number 2 in the country, but so is Duke. And today in Durham, they'll settle the issue. And then, it's Sports World, the NutraSweet World Professional Figure Skating Championships in Landover, Maryland. Followed by final round coverage of the Shearson Lehman Brothers Andy Williams Open. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to our NBC Sports Day. Len Berman in New York. College basketball, pro figure skating on Sports World, and golf all today here on NBC, and we hope you'll stay with us. How about the indoor pole vault? Last night in New Jersey, Billy Olson set the record, clearing 19 feet, 5 3/4 inches. That came only hours after Sergei Bubka had set the record in Moscow. In fact, the record has now been raised 7 times this winter. During those 7 records, the mark has gone up a full 3 inches. At that rate, by April, they would be approaching 19 feet 9 inches, which would also be an outdoor record. Incidentally, Olson and Bubka will go head-to-head later this month in New York. Time now to check our baseball arbitration scoreboard. The players have now won 2 out of 7. Charlie Leibrandt, the Royals pitcher, won a nice raise, going from $225,000 to $770,000. But losing his case, Ron Kittle of the White Sox, he made $300,000 last year, batted just .230, and he wanted a $200,000 raise. For his off year, he was awarded a mere $100,000 raise to $400,000. Compare that with the days when Mickey Mantle actually won the batting title and was asked to take a pay cut. The golf story, final round coverage later today, the Andy Williams Open. Larry Mize leading Bob Tway and Danny Edwards by a stroke. The tournament's been shortened to 54 holes because of yesterday's rainout. Let's get a report now from Charlie Jones and Lee Trevino in San Diego.
Thank you, Len. And for the first time in the history of this tournament, we lost a day to rain. That was yesterday. Lee Trevino, what effect does this have on the pros?
Well, I don't think today it'll have any effect on them. Yesterday, they had a little extra time to prepare. We're still paying for the full purse. They lost today. You know, you make your reservations, you want to get out of here on Sunday, it's going to happen. Larry Mize is not going to have an easy go of it. There's 24 players within 4 shots. I think the guy that's playing the best in there, which is a rookie of last year, and he won $164,000, which is Bob Tway. He could win this golf tournament, but we'll see what happens.
He's your favorite.
That's it.
We'll be back later in the day. Right now, let's go back to Len Berman.
Thank you, Charlie. And Lee says we may have sudden death. We may be here for a while. College basketball is coming up.
The Atlantic Coast Conference, regarded as the nation's strongest basketball league, and this year, in the eyes of the nation's coaches, the ACC has the top 3 teams in the entire country. North Carolina ranked number 1. Duke and Georgia Tech tied for the number 2 spot. Each team is led by an All-America guard. Georgia Tech's Mark Price, whose talent and hustle almost beat North Carolina in overtime earlier this week. And for Duke, in blue, Johnny Dawkins with the lightning moves and the feathery touch to lead the Devils to a 21-2 year. Their numbers this year a mirror image. Points per game, both over 18. Both are the number 2 scorers all time at their universities. Field goal percentage right there. Free throws and rebounds dead even. The winner of their head-to-head battle today, Price of Tech, Dawkins of Duke, could be the decider.
NBC Sports, proud to be college basketball's first network. Today, it's the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets versus the Blue Devils of Duke. Brought to you by Delta Airlines, 39,000 professionals serving more than 100 cities in the U.S. and overseas. Delta gets you there. By Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. By Money Financial Services, financial planning with a real plan. And by the full line of 1986 Volkswagens.
This is Dick Enberg with Al McGuire. 2 of the nation's very best are ready to duel in Durham.
Mount Hood, Oregon and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Mount Hood means the best summer skiing in America. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place than Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
Man, it doesn't get any better than this.
pride flies high. Navy, it's not just a job, it's an adventure.
The way some financial service companies serve their customers, you'd think they were serving up fast food.
2 IRAs and the T-bill on the side.
Well, at Money Financial Services, we do things a little differently. Before we offer you anything, we'll sit down with you to set up your very own financial plan.
Those still hot? Sure.
A plan for you to reach your goals, not someone else's. Money Financial Services. Financial planning with a real plan.
A new company has begun, yet it has a 150-year history. It's only a few days old, but it's already the #1 manufacturer of medium and heavy-duty trucks. Although you've never heard of it, it's in the top quarter of the Fortune 500. The company is Navistar International, and while it's just starting to roll, it's already in high gear. Introducing Navistar, the rebirth of International Harvester.
Campus of Duke University, Durham, North Carolina. Students have been standing and sitting and sleeping outside for 2 days. The Carolina fog this morning, and now they're all in place. Cameron Indoor Stadium, one of the oldest basketball arenas in the entire nation. The scene as Duke and Georgia Tech battle for the #2 spot in the country. Oh my, is it going to be noisy, Al McGuire, today?
Well, the game is going to be decided today, obviously, by the guards. Dawkins and Amaker are outstanding. Might be the best guard combination in the last 10 years.
Wait a minute, Mark Price and Bruce Dalrymple. What's wrong with them for Georgia Tech?
They bring a lot to the table. The game could be decided by Bruce Dalrymple because of his physical size. Remember, Duke's guards only average 160 pounds each. So Bruce will go inside and punish them.
They feel that a fast-paced game and a high foul game would be the advantage of Duke.
Yes, what Georgia Tech has to do is make Duke play a half-court game. Slow it down. Not allow Duke to get into transition or the crowd inside this zoo to get into the game.
2 marvelous teams, outstanding talent. It should be a great game. Georgia Tech and the Blue Devils of Duke. Starting lineups in just a moment.
Presenting the Volkswagen GTI. Car and Driver calls it one of the 10 best cars of 1986.
What you say?
Celebrate. Buy a new GTI by February 28th, and Volkswagen will give you back up to a full year's interest. Get the deal of the year on one of Car and Driver's 10 best cars of 1986.
What you say?
I saw this demonstration on TV, but I didn't believe it until I tried it myself. On this side, I feel a tingling sensation with Denerex. Here with Selsun Blue, nothing. The tingle tells me that Denerex is doing more.
Both have dandruff medicine, but Denerex adds an extra anti-itch medicine many dermatologists recommend.
Feels really good. Refreshing. So long, Selsun Blue. Hello, Denerex.
Denerex shampoo or shampoo and conditioner fights dandruff and its itch with an extra relief medicine.
Georgia Tech's Yellow Jackets 18-3, 2 losses to Carolina, 1 to Michigan. The outstanding freshman Tom Hammonds, Dwayne Farrell at forward, 7-footer John Sally at center, Mike Price and Bruce Dalrymple, their talented backcourt for Bobby Cremins, the 38-year-old head man for Tech. He's really brought a winner to Georgia Tech. And for the home team, the Duke Blue Devils, 21-2. One of their losses was at Georgia Tech by the score of 87-80. The other at North Carolina. David Henderson and Mark Allery, the front line, Big J. Billis at center, Tommy Amaker, and Johnny Dawkins head guard for Mike Krzyzewski. Georgia Tech has it first. Price the playmaker. Amaker will draw as his assignment. Farrell has Henderson. Hammonds, the brilliant freshman, and Allery on top of him. Sally and Billis. Price off a pick. Georgia Tech leads 2-0. Amaker will bring it up. Unlike Price, who is the point guard, controls the play. Amaker is the point man for Duke, and Dawkins is the off guard.
Amaker's a pure point guard. That means he gets the ball in the hands of the people that can score.
Plays good D, governs the tempo of the game.
Allery, same 17-footer Price has. It's tied at 2.
Let's watch this time down, see if Dalrymple tries to bring Dawkins down into the paint.
You see the bandage on the right thigh of Mark Price. That's Price with the ball. He has a couple of injuries, an ankle injury and a thigh. Seems to bother him most of all whenever he commits a foul or he misses a shot.
Well, once they start sweating, the injuries seem to just fade away. They're nagging ones.
Dawkins with the first foul of the game. Mike Krzyzewski, former player under Bob Knight at Army. He's a captain. Dalrymple. Scramble, and it belongs to home, to Duke.
Dalrymple threw that ball a little bit too hard into Sally. Yogi Berra would have been able to hold that one.
It's tied 2-all. Cameron Indoor Stadium, the students at a feverish pitch. Johnny Dawkins, short. Dalrymple to Price. To Sally. A beautiful feed by Mark Price, and Georgia Tech leads 4-2.
That's what two seniors can do after 4 years together. Excellent timing.
David Henderson, Amaker, Allery. Tied at 4. Allery has all 4 for Duke.
Abbott's going to move up on Allery. He'll burn you from the outside.
Burrell from 12. Neither team can miss. 6-4 Georgia Tech.
Jay Billis a little slow getting down court.
Billis was ill with the flu last night in the infirmary, but he says he feels much better today. They were talking about starting the freshman Danny Ferry. Here comes Tech with a 6-4 lead. Dalrymple to Tom Hammonds. Rebound Allery.
Again, Georgia Tech trying to make Duke play a half-court game.
Amaker. That's a little out of character. Price with a rebound. Folks traveling on Hammonds. I think he was surprised by the pass.
What surprised me more than that was Amaker taking that shot. It was not the right time in the game or score. He's usually a little bit more heady than that.
Whistle away from the ball. Danny Ferry, 35, is at the scorer's table.
I think Coach K might be watching very closely Jay going up and down the court. Maybe they're putting Ferry in early because Jay doesn't have any quickness. He came down about 3 seconds late the last time down. Johnny Dawkins will pop out of that pick down low. See the double stack offensively down low? Watch Dawkins pop out. There you are. That's all she wrote.
Chipped in by Jay Billis. It's tied at 6. And at the other end, Tom Hammonds with a counter.
Jay just doesn't seem, Jay Billis doesn't seem to have any life at all out there.
Now you're battling the virus. That adrenaline will only take you so far. Sally blocks the shot, but commits his first foul. Here comes Ferry in, and Billis goes out.
Watch Johnny Dawkins down low. On this replay, there's Johnny Dawkins at the baseline. He pops out. His man, Mark Price, gets caught on the pick.
Billis tips it in. It's 8-6 and a deuce for David Henderson, who is now a starter, outstanding 6-man his first 3 years here. It's 8-7.
Well, last year, Dick, he would have started, but he had a back injury. And any ball player with a back injury, a coach is not fooled with. Back or neck injuries, coaches don't say or your foot, fine. You say, hey, go play.
It's tied again, as it has been at 2, 4, 6, and 8. Burrell, rebound to Ferry. He leads the team in rebounds. The freshman, highly recruited. Dawkins traveled and trying to get around Price. And with that, we have a timeout. 15 minutes and 46 seconds left in the opening half. Chet and Duke tied for second, tied at 8.
Delta professionals always make you feel like you're on top of the world. Delta gets you there.
The Florida Everglades and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. The Everglades means airboating, as close as you can get to flying without leaving the ground. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place than Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
Hey, guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
His name's Lightning. When you want a loan, most banks work at a slow trot. But someone can put you in the saddle.
Hop on.
The boss at Beneficial.
Hi, I'm Carol.
Our manager can get you a Beneficial credit line account, usually in 24 hours. The money you want for the things you want. That was fast.
Fast as lightning. You bet.
Beneficial. Talk to the manager and you're talking to the boss.
The gathering of the world's great figure skaters. Olympic gold medalist Scott Hamilton, Robin Cousins, and dance sensation Torvill and Dean. The gathering continues at the World Professional Figure Skating Championships on NBC Sports World. America loves its sports, NBC style.
How good are the top 3 teams as judged by the nation's coaches? Well, if you take away the losses between them, in the 3. North Carolina 20-1-1. The only loss to Virginia. Duke would be unbeaten. And Georgia Tech's only loss was to Michigan, first game of the year for them. That's just how outstanding these 3 clubs have been. Jay Billis on the bench, undoubtedly weakened by the flu. And freshman Danny Ferry has replaced him. The game is even at 8. And we played 4 minutes and 15 seconds.
Dan Ferry was starting. They moved him out of the start lineup because he wasn't giving them enough scoring.
Price knocked away by Amaker. Sally playing on the high post. Price, a good move on Amaker, and gets the foul. Mark Price, he now owns the Georgia Tech records. Most steals, most consecutive free throws, most games played, most assists, and he's the #2 scorer all time in Georgia Tech history to Rich Youngkus. In fact, Price needs 19 points today for 2,000 in his career.
Oh, there's the victory lap that time. The student body's saying, choke, choke, choke. Because the one he missed against North Carolina. He'll bottom this one out. All net.
10-8, Georgia Tech breaking the tie again.
Light pressure up court. Nothing to write home about.
David Henderson. So it's been tied at every even number. 2, 4, 6, 8, and now 10.
Going 1-4 in their offense, staying kind of high.
Sally against Allery. He's got about 4 inches on him. Tom Hammond's not there. David Henderson rebounds. Duke has a chance to take the lead for the first time. Dawkins has it. Johnny Dawkins, first points, and Duke has its first lead. 5.5 minutes gone.
Should kick it inside. Good move.
Hammonds ties it for Georgia Tech.
What they're doing is bringing Sally high, taking it down into Hammonds on the blocks.
for Dalrymple.
He's the key. I think they should feed him down low more. His body's just too big for the other guards.
Dawkins driving on Price to score. 6 for Johnny Dawkins. For that game earlier this week, North Carolina and Georgia Tech down in Atlanta, as a fan, was one of the best I've ever seen, and this one's starting the same way. Sally to score. Wonderful talent on both sides.
North Carolina's outstanding. Should end up in the Final Four.
Push off. Gallery pushed off. And it's a first foul on Mark Gallery. Billy King, number 55, enters the lineup for Duke.
What's happening here, Dick, I think Duke is trying to do what Dean Smith does to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech has a precipitous drop after their first 5.
A what?
Precipitous. I don't know what it means. So they're trying to wear out Georgia Tech.
Oh, Berry had the ball, but they say the foul was with the body.
Looked like the body might have been the hip, but it was all ball on the top. Watch it, all ball on the top. He's right, good call.
8 minutes gone. Sally with a chance to tie it.
That's surprising. I came here about 2 hours before post time. That means game time. And Sally was in street clothes taking foul shots.
They took about 50 at both ends, so he's concerned about his free throw shooting.
Once you get it in your head, son, you really have a problem. You got to get it out of your head.
Misses both, so Duke maintains the 2-point lead. Johnny Dawkins working on Price, and a block on Price. And with that, a timeout. Exactly 8 minutes gone. Duke 18, Georgia Tech 16.
Any kind of tools, for every kind of job. One name, one place, gives you more good choices than anywhere else.
There's more for your life at Sears.
Glacier Bay, Alaska, and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Glacier Bay means the one and only Alaskan king crab, sweet, fresh, and big. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer, cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer, and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place, an Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee, and Old Milwaukee Light.
Hey guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
Monday, and all new bloopers and practical jokes will keep you hopping when Mafia Princess Susan Lucci has some trouble with a look-alike double. Plus, Chicago's Super Bowl superstars Monday.
Dick Enberg and Al McGuire, welcome back to Cameron Indoor Stadium. This stadium built in 1940, and at the time was the largest basketball arena south of Philadelphia. Now it's one of the smallest, but with it comes a charm. About 8,500 can be packed in here. And what they're going to do, rather than raise the roof and add 5,000 seats and still have an old stadium, they're going to refurbish it, use brass and stained glass, and make this a basketball antique, and I applaud that.
I thought you were going to say they're going to lower the floor. On the way in today, I noticed they are putting an extension on their football field.
18-16, Duke with the ball in the lead. Billy King, not a good shooter. Ferry the follow, and a foul on Ferry. That'll be his second. So Georgia Tech with a chance to tie. And Bobby Cremins very concerned, Al McGuire, about the fact that his team's still suffering from that highly emotional loss earlier in the week against North Carolina. They had the Tar Heels beaten, couldn't hold on to it.
You know what happens with emotion, Dick? That drains strength. And I think Georgia Tech being so emotionally involved in that game that they lost a lot of their strength. But remember, North Carolina is #1. You know, another interesting thing about Dean Smith, he has never recruited a ball player that he has to motivate.
That's an interesting point, at least in recent years. Dawkins, hawked by Price. You see Quinn Snyder, a freshman, 14, hawking Greg Neal. Neal with the ball. They call him Noodles, 6'5", from Washington, Indiana. Friend of Steve Alford, the great guard at Indiana. Sally to Neal. And a foul. Billis of Duke. And that will be the 6th team foul on the Blue Devils. Only 2 committed by Georgia Tech.
Coach K is mixing his men. Now he's giving Dawkins a blow.
Amaker in for Dawkins. The depth of bench is in the favor of the Blue Devils.
Plus the home court. Starting 5 on Georgia Tech is tough. I think they get the best starting 5 in the country. Now, let me explain this. If you're going to play a game on a blacktop, that means a playground, and you take the 5 starters from Georgia Tech and put them against any other 5 starters in the country and play the game to 100, I am going to bet my oldest son on Georgia Tech.
Let's not go that far. You're making your point. Ferry from outside. The big man hits. And Duke leads by 4. First points for Ferry.
Well, he's a stand-up shooter. That means if you give him room, he'll make it.
His dad, of course, NBA star, still in the NBA as the general manager. Brother was the captain at Harvard. This is Quinn Snyder from Seattle, Washington, with a loose ball. Amaker. Georgia Tech is cold, and Duke now has a chance to open up a 6-point lead.
Anytime that Dalrymple's out of their starting lineup, they usually end up in trouble. 2-3 zone by Georgia Tech.
Same shot by Ferry. King misses the tip. Out it comes to Neal. Tech on the break. 4 on 2. Good play by Amaker to break up the pass on the wing.
Young people out there, that should have been a bounce pass from Noodles to the left. Watch Noodles coming down here. He should have bounced past it over. No way it could have been blocked. An automatic 2 points, a possible 3-point play.
Exactly 10 minutes left. Duke 20, Georgia Tech 16, first half. Farrell. Nice jumper by Dwayne Farrell, the ACC Freshman of the Year last year. Cuts the lead to 2018. In fact, Georgia Tech, undoubtedly, Tom Hammonds is going to be the Freshman of the Year again. That'll be 4 straight years that Bobby Crimmins has had the top freshman in this league. It started with Price, then it was Dalrymple, last year Farrell, and this year probably that man, Tom Hammonds.
Every other year was a finesse player to a powerful punishing player. Dalrymple and Hammonds are punishing players. The other 2 guys are finesse.
David Henderson off to Allery. Allery returning. Quinn Snyder to Amaker. Inside. Henderson loses the ball, goes right to Snyder, and he throws it away. Dalrymple, a great defensive player. He would make my all-defensive team.
Keeps the ball alive. Not a great shooter from out. Gets X amount of rebounds, X amount of steals, X amount of balls off the floor.
Stolen by King. Sky King. Sky King it is. It's 22-18.
Sky King wears number 55 because his idol was Albert King in Maryland. So when Coach Lefty went to recruit him, he bought him a jersey from Albert King, so the kid ends up at Duke.
With 55 in blue and white. Sally. Out of bounds. Last touch by Snyder of Duke. Let's go back to the steal by King.
Yeah. King all the way. Up and away.
Billy King from Sterling, Virginia.
That should be 2.
Mark Price cuts the lead to 22-20, 6 points for him. So Dawkins and Price with 6 each.
Duke tried to be cute, go man-to-man on the baseline. No way.
Amaker, good move. Allery alone to score. And Sally lucky that he didn't pick up his second foul.
Also, we're lucky that Dawkins didn't get hurt. He was on the ground. And Allery's the big man coming down on you.
Allery leading Duke with 8 points. Wide open, Sally. 24-22. 6 points for the 7-footer for Georgia Tech.
No, it's a 5 count that time. Everyone was yelling at Froggy here. The coach, Dick.
The referee being Dick Paparo.
Paparo, I don't know how you pronounce his last name. Coach K was yelling at him. Allie was yelling at him. And they forgot that the 5 count was ticking down. And we have a turnover.
Just under 8 minutes remain here in Durham. And Duke leads by 2.
Brewed in Munich. Brewed in England.
Sweden.
Canada.
Japan.
And here in America.
Of all the beers brewed in this world, there's only one beer brewed around the world in the great beer-drinking countries, Lowenbrau.
And now through March 28, you can win a trip to any city in the great beer-drinking countries, or thousands of other prizes. Just stop in any participating bar and play the Lowenbrau Challenge. I won! Won? I won! You won!
This world calls for Lowenbrau right now.
Delta gets you there. To Los Angeles, Boston, Chicago, and New York. Also service to all of Florida's major resorts. Delta also gets you to Europe, Hawaii, and the islands. In all, Delta serves more than 100 cities in the U.S. and overseas. Delta gets you there.
All the excitement of college basketball is here when the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame battles Duke. College basketball. It's the stuff Sundays are made of on NBC.
Well, we'll look forward to Notre Dame here at Duke next Sunday, and Digger has to be happy after that big upset at Syracuse yesterday.
Unbelievable win, especially at the Carrier Dome. They don't lose there often.
Well, I'm glad you're not Krzyzewski of Duke. There would have been a technical foul called on that last play down there. You'd have gone wacky losing the ball that way.
Especially after losing the ball. They were both trying to get a message over to, I call him Froggy. His name is Dick what?
Dick Paparo.
Paparo.
He's one of the nation's best officials, and the rule is you've got to play it in 5 seconds.
And he'll make the prime time call. He's not afraid.
Well, now Georgia Tech with a chance to tie. 7 minutes and 50 seconds left in this opening half. Rice, he's looking for a shot. Still, Dawkins. Oh, my. There they were, head-to-head. Dawkins against Price. And the Duke guard, All-America, was able to steal for 2.
Price is coming right back. Price is saying to himself right now, get me the ball. Let me score on it. If Price gets the ball, it's going to go up.
Craig Neal. Rebound Allery. Duke leads by 4 with 7 minutes left in this half. Dawkins to Henderson. Misses the layup, and Hammonds rips down the rebound. Mark Price.
Told you it was going up. Not a good play, Mark. You're trying to play one-on-one basketball.
Mark Price called for a charge.
This is all because of Dawkins stealing the ball off Mark Price earlier. There's such pride in these young guys that he wants to get right back and say, in-your-face basketball again.
Well, that's a tough call.
It's really a tough call.
The only thing I could see, he might have cleared a little bit with the right hand before the move.
And that was a hairline call.
26-22, the Blue Devils with 6.5 minutes remaining before the intermission. Our topic at halftime on Al McGuire's Hoops is the man in charge of supervising the officials in this league. Understandably, not an easy task.
Oh, it's got to be impossible with the athletic directors and the fans living in this area where basketball is a religion.
Mark Allery into the lane, clearing out to Ferry. Danny Ferry. Rebound Farrell. Clear to Neal. Amaker backing in will pick up the foul. And that will send Georgia Tech into the bonus. Meanwhile, the Engineers with only 3 fouls. They still call them Engineers down at Georgia Tech, don't they?
Rambling Rex.
Yellow Jackets.
Coach Crimmins is just talking to Mark Price. What happens every now and then, Mark gets a little bit out of control, wants to do it all himself. He's such a competitor, and he's absolutely a true All-American. But basketball is a team game. There's no I in team.
Farrell with his 5th point. And the sophomore from Towson, Maryland, cuts the lead to 2.
Dawkins starting down low. Will try to rub off Dalrymple. There he goes. He'll come around the horn. Here he comes. 2 points. No, Sally came out and got a piece of it.
Farrell clears to Sally. To Dalrymple, underneath to Hammonds. Nicely done by Georgia Tech. And the game is tied again at 26.
This Price cheering for his club. Watch the continuity and the unselfishness of this break. Nice bounce pass by Dalrymple, and finish up by the outstanding freshman of influence.
You really impress me. Continuity and precipitous.
Throw me over the fence to rake. Double team.
And Dawkins just does clear to Ferry. Somebody has to be open, but Ferry can't spot it. They liken Ferry as a young Bill Walton. They're very pleased with his ability to pass the ball as a big man. Dawkins has it slapped away. Amaker saves it, and then it's Farrell.
Boy, you know there's such great plays out there, Dick, that just little tips and little movements. It was a tremendous tap there down court where he couldn't control the ball, and I think it was Farrell that tapped it.
Actually, it was Hammonds that tapped, and Billis was the man who fouled him in the process.
Okay, but there's such little things like that that you almost have to be at the game and see the whole court to know what they're playing as a team.
How good is this freshman, Tom Hammonds from Crestview, Florida? He's the 2nd leading scorer for Tech, 13-7, hitting 83% from the line and 65% from the floor. He has been brilliant. He's a man-child. Misses that time, and a chance for Tech to take the lead. Now it's Dawkins, a 26 tie.
With 5 minutes left, if I was Tech, I'd be more aggressive on D because they got a lot of fouls to give.
Billis misses everything except Henderson's hands. He misses. Finally, Sally to Neal, 2-on-1. Oh, what a move to Hammonds, and Craig Neal with a little mustard on that one. The early trailer, and then they took the lead, and now it's Tech back in front, 28-26.
Hit the ball to Dawkins if you can.
Billy King knocked out of bounds by Dalrymple. Let's go back to Noodles, Neal.
Noodles makes an excellent pass here. Draws the defense over.
Yeah, you rarely see that. It was a fake behind the back pass. He faked the pass and went on himself. Henderson partially blocked by Farrell. Goes to King. All alone, Billis. Tied again. 4 points for Jay Billis.
ACC basketball this year is so good. North Carolina State's on the come. They're only a guard away from, in my opinion, a good shot at the Final Four.
Off Dalrymple's hands, out of bounds to Duke. Jim Valvano, of course, now official that he's the coach and the athletic director of North Carolina State. That was the dual role he played at Iona College before he came down to Raleigh. Blocked by Neal.
Well, I think North Carolina State is a little bit of a larger operation with multiple sports. I don't think it was a good move, personally. They get caught in too many meetings. In academia, all these faculty people, they love meetings. They love to smoke pipes. You have a pipe smoker in a meeting, he takes 20 minutes. If you have 3 pipe smokers, you blow an hour. That's true.
Tied at 28. Here comes Neal. Out of bounds to Georgia Tech. The game currently tied at 28. The 8th time in this first half they've been even.
Neal misses this shot because he expects to get hit. He drops his eyes. See, he dropped his eyes off the rim.
3 minutes and 24 seconds remaining in this exciting first half.
I've analyzed your financial situation very carefully. You need our Super CD.
Financial advice may often be limited by what someone has to sell you.
In your case, I'd recommend our Super CD.
At Money Financial Services, before we sell you anything, we'll work out a plan tailored to your goals.
Most unusual, you need our Super CD.
Talk to Money, or you may not get what you need. Money Financial Services, financial planning with a real plan.
Well, I got horses coming in and out of here all day long. Mealtime can come differently every day. I get this gnawing in my belly.
Snickers satisfies you.
Nothing satisfies like Snickers. It's a good solid snack.
Packed with peanuts, peanut butter nougat, caramel, and milk chocolate.
Snickers satisfies you.
Packed with peanuts, Snickers really satisfies.
When I'm feeling hungry, Snickers is one thing I know I can count on to satisfy me.
All the excitement of college basketball is here. Next Saturday at 1 Eastern, the Hawkeyes of Iowa battle Michigan. Then at 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific, the Georgetown Hoyas take on the Wildcats of Villanova in a rematch of last year's championship game. Plus West Coast regional action. College basketball. It's the stuff Saturdays are made of on NBC.
Another terrific lineup on NBC. Basketball next weekend will be in Ann Arbor. The Hawkeyes and the Wolverines. Illinois beating Michigan has really thrown that Big Ten race into a tight squeeze. Of course, the rematch of the NCAA championship game last year, Georgetown and Villanova, will be seen at 3 o'clock Eastern time, and then on the West Coast, USC and Arizona and Washington. Atop that Pac-10, but that thing is scrambled with each game as well. Tied at 28. Dalrymple saves. Price is back in the game for Georgia Tech. They're going with a three-guard offense. Price to Sally, and he was fouled by Billis. That'll be 3 on the Duke center.
Price always has complete control of his facilities. And watch this pass as he loses balance and bang, kicks it in.
The foul is not on Billis. It'll be called on King. His first. He comes out. Amaker returns. So with Duke showing a three-guard offense, Mike Krzyzewski, the Blue Devil coach, counters by bringing in essence, a third guard. Henderson can play on the wing. Sally, again, having trouble from the line, and that has cost Georgia Tech the lead here in this first half.
Mainly in his head, and he's not getting his heels off the floor. They're up there that time.
29-28, Georgia Tech. One of the few times, in fact, the only time in the entire half, we've been on an odd number score. Dawkins, he beat Price, sets up Allery. Basket is good.
Dawkins beat Price bad that time. Now, Price does have some injuries on his thigh and his ankle, but watch Dawkins blow by him. He puts on his afterburner. There he goes. Got himself in the fast lane now. Kicks it over. Finish up.
Mark Allery from Scottsdale, Arizona. Went to Brophy Prep High School there. Can't hit the three-pointer. It remains 30-29 Duke. Dalrymple at the other end for Georgia Tech to score. Bruce Dalrymple makes it 31-30 Tech. He has 4.
Dalrymple's a big game player.
Dawkins, Price guarding him. That's the duel. Allery is free. Dalrymple knocked away to Georgia Tech. Bruce Dalrymple, to show you how valuable at 6'4" a guard he is. As a freshman, he had over 200 rebounds, and as a sophomore last year, more than 200 rebounds. He had a big game against Duke, and perhaps was the difference in the win down at Atlanta by 7. And Mike Krzyzewski talked about him before the game today. We have to control Dalrymple. He didn't mention Price. It was Dalrymple that worried him.
Awful hard to match him up.
Inside to Hammonds.
There's Dalrymple again, keeping the ball alive.
All right, they call it dual possession, and the arrow points Georgia Tech's way.
Be careful here right now. I think that Georgia Tech will get a nice, easy shot off this man-to-man. Watch Price come off. There it is. Good recovery by Amaker.
Down to the 2-minute mark, first half. Georgia Tech Sally cuts inside to give the Engineers the lead, 32-31. 9 points for him.
Duke has to get more on the offensive board.
Dawkins guns. Dalrymple rebounds.
6'10" Dalrymple out of Harlem by way of prep school up in Vermont.
He plays like he's 6'10", although only 6'4". Price has it knocked away, and this time it'll go to Duke.
Price is trying too hard. Henderson reached in and cleared the ball away that time. Basket right here, Duke.
Trailing by 3. Turnover to Georgia Tech. Set up for Dalrymple. Neal missed the tip, and Allery the other way to Dawkins.
Henderson should go all the way.
Henderson. The senior hits it cleanly with less than a minute remaining in the half. 6 for him.
Good play by Dawkins. Ferry was free, but he's a freshman. He's tall. Doesn't have the coordination that a Henderson has.
Out of bounds as he tried to save it.
What hands that time? Holy mackerel.
Now the good stat on Amaker, he's turned the ball over only 57 times this year, and he's made something like 40 steals. And so, I mean, just on that alone, I mean, he's stealing the ball as much as he turns it over. A great stat.
The shot clock is shut down. We just got the big clock, the game clock. I believe Georgia Tech will try to go for 1. They can't foul because they're in the 1-on-1 to Duke.
Georgia Tech leading 33-32. Final seconds, first half. Dalrymple posting up.
What do you shoot for, Dalrymple?
Rebounds, and Duke has a chance to enjoy the lead at the break.
Big break for Duke. They can move in. 1 point up.
Look at Dawkins go to work. Oh, my!
Oh. Outstanding.
And that's the final play of an exciting, well-contested first half. All you could ask. Johnny Dawkins, the All-America, the leading scorer for Duke all 4 years here in Durham, putting the move on All-America Mark Price, knifing in for the shot that gives the Blue Devils the lead at the intermission, 34-33.
It's an FTD Hearts and Flowers bouquet for you, Charlotte.
Oh, Brett, I simply adore the flowers. And look at darling little chest.
For Valentine's Day.
Oh, Tweedledee. That isn't till the 14th.
I had to be first.
Brett. Was there ever any doubt?
Good day, Charlotte.
See your FTD florist before the other guy does.
And tomorrow another bouquet.
This world calls for special feeling.
This world calls for sharing them now.
This night calls for these friends call for. This world calls for Lowenbrau.
Lowenbrau. Brewed in Munich, brewed in England, Sweden, Canada, Japan, and here in America. For 600 years of Bavarian heritage in one smooth American beer.
This world calls for Lowenbrau right now.
Norman, it's late.
I can't sleep. The office automation revolution is passing us by.
At 2 in the morning?
Technology never sleeps, Doris. I'll call Harris.
Who's Harris, Norman?
I'm Norman. Harris is the big high technology company. Office networks, computers, phone systems.
You're hyperventilating.
Satellite communications. They'll grow at my business. I'll be a mogul.
Come to bed.
But my empire, my dream.
My sleep.
For your information, our name is Harris.
This year, 1 out of every 6 cars will need to have its brakes repaired. That's why at Midas, we offer a free brake inspection. If your car needs work, you know it's being done by experts. 500,000 people a year have their brakes fixed at Midas, and we're glad to have the business. But more important, we appreciate the trust.
Trust the Midas touch.
In the battle of the two All-America guards, Johnny Dawkins and Mark Price, Dawkins outscored Price 10-6 in the first half. Duke outscored Georgia Tech by 1, 34-33. A look behind the scenes, the officials, when we return.
Tonight, a world movie premiere.
Mr. President, we will find them.
2 years in the making, the most shocking story ever made for television.
You cannot meet my demands.
A movie everyone must see.
There will be more blood.
Let's hope it never happens. America Under Siege. Tonight.
The Benny Hill Show, weeknights at 11 p.m. on 28 WPTF TV.
Watch closely. We'll show you 15 good reasons to choose Cellular One. The $29.95 lease, quality phones, convenient service, affordable rates, quality dealers, local customer service, free detailed billing, wide coverage area, half-minute billing, affordable phones, reliable service, easy installation, quality, service, value. Cellular One.
Welcome to Key Homes. I'm Mary Lou Adams, sales coordinator here in Raleigh, and I'd like to tell you why you should buy your next home from us. First of all, there's experience. Key Homes has built over 10,000 homes in the Triangle with quality in each one. Then there's selection. With 19 locations in the Triangle, Key Homes has more homes to show you than any other builder. Key Homes pays all closing costs and discount points. Key Homes are affordable. Visit a Key Home location today.
Bosom Buddies, weeknights at 7 p.m.
Al McGuire's Hoops. Brought to you by Miller Beer. Miller, made the American way since 1855.
One of the advantages of being an announcer is usually we're sitting at courtside near the coaches. And when I used to work in the old days, you were at Marquette. That was an education. You not only studied the opposing team and the coaches, you worked the officials.
Well, what I did with the Zebras, I used to keep a book on them. And I used to rate them by their habits. Some officials were rednecks, so you never say anything to them because they come back at you. Other officials were flowers. That means if you jumped on them, they'd wilt.
And the officials themselves, of course, know the coaches and their habits, and it helps if the supervisor of those officials is a former coach himself. Al visited one of those.
I said what I said. If I'd have seen it, I'd have called it. What else do you want me to say?
Most people that run the referees were a referee. You were a coach. How come?
Well, I was a coach, and I think my coaching experience has really helped in terms of this position, Al. Most people, as you said, were officials prior to getting this kind of a job, and they come in with an officiating background, and they're in tune with the officials' problems more than the coaches' problems. The ACC tried to get out ahead and change that philosophy to a degree by bringing in a fellow that maybe had the coaching background and then could relearn or reorient himself to the officiating background. That's why I was hired in the ACC.
What's OB? What's out of bounds? What's a no-no for an official?
We stay out of hospitality rooms. Not allowed to go to
No free coffee.
No free coffee, no free chicken.
It's delivered.
It's all delivered, you're right. We have a free delivery service. I can't say that we don't have that. But no hospitality rooms, no press conference situations, no local bars.
Any statement after the game?
Cannot have any statement after the game except...
To a reporter or...
No. Only the home team sports information director is entitled to enter the referee's locker room at the end of the game and request only this, an interpretation of a rule on a situation that occurred in that game.
What time do they have their first get-together in their own locker room?
Okay. That is called a pregame conference, very much like a coach. An hour or so before, after they're dressed, they sit down as a group, and no one is allowed in that locker room. No one, except me or the commissioner of the conference. And they have a little magnetic board with three officials, little magnets that kind of interpret or represent the official, and they go over the different interpretations, the contact calls, various situations that occurred the week before, in the last couple of weeks, bulletins that I send out to them on a weekly basis, anything that's going to help them prepare to be consistent so that they can see the game from the same eyes. There's 3 people working as a team. If you notice, all officials prior to the game, the 30 minutes prior to the game, are always on the opposite side of the floor. They're never on the bench side of the floor. The reason is that we thought that a lot of bench jockeying was going on 30 minutes before the game. We thought a lot of the assistant coaches were coming up there and getting some points across.
Well, you brought this from your coaching career,
right,
not from your refereeing
that's what I told you, where the coaching background came in. And so we think that by putting them on the opposite side of the floor, we are already telling the coach, don't come on this side, this is our side.
Yeah.
And that's your side. And only 3 minutes before the game do they come out and go on the bench side of the floor.
If you had one wish for your guys, what would it be?
I guess that I would like the referees, after they've worked the game, and they've made their errors, but they do it honestly and without malice, I would like our lay public to allow them back into society.
It's not an easy job, and they're certainly not overpaid, Coach.
Dix, I want to tell you, I don't forgive them, and society should not accept them.
What a guy.
These guys came in here, wanted to buy us out, to wreck the place like the rest of the block. This bar's been in our family for 70 years, so we said, go ahead, build your building. But build it around us.
There's still a place where some things are not for sale, where beer is beer and the brand is Miller. Miller contains no additives or preservatives. Purity you can see, quality you can taste.
Great moments in sports are here on NBC. Our tradition covers the sports world for all the world to see. So when America watches sports, it turns to NBC. America loves its sports. America. NBC style. America loves its sports. America. NBC style.
Well, I'm Berman in New York, and we are at halftime with Duke leading Georgia Tech 34-33. A close, exciting first half throughout in the battle for who's number 2 in the U.S. behind North Carolina. Duke fans were certainly ready for this one. Some of them waited all night long to get into Cameron Indoor Stadium, but it was Georgia Tech in the gold, which got off and running early. Mark Price, their starter. John Sally stuffs it through. Tech on top. But now, Duke running back the other way. David Henderson all the way. How about this pass? Over to Johnny Dawkins for the layup. Duke on top. Maybe the best pass of the first half. Here's Craig Neal. How's this move? Over to Tom Hammonds, but Duke is leading by 1 at halftime with more to come. Reminder, Sports World's next. Pro figure skating from Landover, Maryland, followed by the Andy Williams Open from San Diego. The leaders have teed off. Larry Mize continues to lead Bob Tway and Danny Edwards by a stroke. And for pick and clean fans, this round's not for you. Unlike Pebble Beach last week, no cleaning the ball in the fairway. Back to basketball.
Inside the Gothic stone walls of Cameron Indoor Stadium on the campus of Duke University, 34-33, the hometown team leading Georgia Tech. Let's go back to that matchup of the 2 All-America guards, Dawkins and Price. Anything surprise you or different from what you might have thought?
I think, first of all, maybe to cop a plea a little bit, I think that maybe Mark Price is down a little bit with his thigh injury and his ankle injury. Out there today, it looks like Dawkins is so much quicker. Now, they're both true All-Americans, and I also think that Price is trying to carry the load by himself. A couple of times it looked to me that he went solo. But they're both outstanding ball players. I think that Duke has to get a little bit more out of Henderson. If they can get him into the ball game, then Georgia Tech will have a long second half. But so far, Dick, the game's a push.
Well, it's been tied 8 times in the first half. The biggest lead for Duke was only 4. Georgia Tech's biggest lead, only 3. You can't ask it to be much more tighter than that. We'll come back with the official statistics, the second half of action, right after we pause from Durham, North Carolina for these words from your local station.
Tomorrow, it was his last chance to prove his own courage.
You can kick me out of here, but I ain't quitting.
His last chance to win this girl's heart.
I've loved you since I met you.
His last chance to earn this man's respect.
You ready to quit now? No, sir!
An Officer and a Gentleman. A network television premiere. Tomorrow.
For pure comedy magic and hilarious fun.
My lap likes you.
Catch Bosom Buddies.
Discover Bosom Buddies on 28 WPTF TV.
You always hurt the one you love.
People have a love-hate relationship with their cars. They love them, but they don't always treat them right. Yet amazingly, over 90% of all Subarus registered since 1974 are still on the road. Now imagine how much longer they would last if people didn't love them so much.
Test drive a new 1986 Subaru at your local dealer today.
A good business needs a dependable banking partner. That's why we bank with UCB. At home, we run our household finances like a business.
These days, you've got to.
And UCB is our banking partner here, too.
Our United Carolina banker has helped us pick services that have really improved our cash flow.
CDs, their smart investment account, IRAs, loans.
All at rates that fit our needs.
That's right. So if you need a dependable banking partner, talk to UCB.
Good advice.
Good business.
The new Newlywed Game on 28 WPTF TV.
College basketball is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. By Bud Light, everything else is just a light. By the U.S. Army, a place to be all you can be. And by Sears. Come celebrate Sears' 100th anniversary. See all the ways we've changed and all the ways we haven't.
This is the home of the world-famous Clydesdales. It's a symbol of a long tradition of quality that goes into making Budweiser. Along with the finest ingredients and beechwood aging, Budweiser is brewed with a special touch of care and pride. No other brewer has such a tradition of quality to live up to. But then, no other brewer makes the king of beers. After all, this Bud's for you.
You're gonna love the way we bring you closer every day. You're gonna love our airline.
Midway makes it so easy to be there. With low Metro Miser fares and the least restrictions in the air. For other schedules and fares, call Midway or your travel agent and be there, person to person.
Midway, our spirit will live you.
A Ranger never takes the easy way out.
You're reaching deep inside you for things you've never known. Go!
That's why getting into the Rangers is tough and the training is tough.
Be all that you can be.
So it makes me feel like I'm part of something really special.
Be all that you can be.
And I'm not the only one.
Find your future in the Army.
The gathering of the world's great figure skaters. Olympic gold medalist Scott Hamilton, Robin Cousins, and dance sensation Torvill and Dean. The gathering continues at the World Professional Figure Skating Championships on NBC Sports World. America loves its sports, NBC style.
These are the shots taken by Georgia Tech in the first half. The X's are shots made. 56% is just a little over Tech's average. They're the number 3 shooting team in the country. North Carolina, Michigan State, Georgia Tech 1, 2, 3.
What happened here, Dick, the 2 on the outside were hit by Price. They need a little bit more scoring from the outside. A lot of hammering underneath. They were created by turnovers and so-called chippies or putbacks.
Duke shooting only 45.7%, getting a lot of shots, especially over in that one corner, but missing.
Well, what happened with Duke, they've missed 10 more shots than Georgia Tech did. They've got to start bottoming them out from the outside. And again, a lot of them were breaks, especially on turnovers created by Amaker and Dawkins.
Team statistics, you see, actually the free throw percentage low also, only 5 for 9 for Georgia Tech. Rebounds, Duke a +6, and that's why they lead by 1.
Well, the rebound key, Dick, is Dalrymple got 4 rebounds and probably kept the ball alive 5 or 6 other times.
That's right. John Sally has only 1 rebound in the first half, but leads Georgia Tech with 9. The Jackets chipping in. Hammonds with 8, Price 6, Burrell 6, and Dalrymple 4. And for Duke, 2 men with 10 points, Dawkins and Allery. Henderson with 6, Billis 4, Ferry and King 2 apiece, and Amaker didn't score, but made some key defensive plays and passes. No one in foul trouble. Neither side has a man with more than 2 fouls. Here we go. Georgia Tech gets the ball to open the second half.
Anybody's ball game.
Amaker draws Price to start the second half. And a turnover. Henderson comes up with a loose ball and sets up Dawkins. 36-33 Duke. 12 points for Dawkins. And David Henderson plays tough defense and smart defense. Leaves his man, takes some chances.
Here it is.
Dalrymple off the feed from Sally, 36-35.
Mayor Copa on Henderson. Turned his head, allowed the back door.
Allery, a good fake on Hammonds, and he hits. Mark Allery with 12.
Excellent shot.
Now the pace, and there's the turnover. Dawkins over Dalrymple. Amaker rebounds, and he'll wait for help to come.
Dawkins should have waited for help before he took that shot. That was kind of a difficult shot with 2 against 3.
Allery, he's hot. That's the biggest lead of the game. 5 points for Duke. A timeout, Georgia Tech.
Good timeout call.
18:30 left.
It is an automotive advance whose time has come. The Mercedes-Benz Supplemental Restraint System, SRS. In a severe frontal impact, a driver's side airbag and emergency tensioning retractors in both front seat belts supplement 3-point seatbelt restraint. All in a fraction of a second. SRS, only from Mercedes-Benz. And now standard equipment on every Mercedes-Benz for 1986.
This is the one we've been waiting for. Sears Electronic Showplace Sale. Let's go down for a report on the action.
Thank you, Bob. You can feel the excitement in this crowd, and why not? Here's a remote control stereo TV. It's cable compatible, and you'll save $150. And a wireless remote VCR that's cable compatible and programmable for $170 off. Back to you, Bob.
Sears Electronic Showplace Sale. This'll be a damn.
There's more for your life. They love it. At Sears. Look, we've got trouble in the corral.
Chasing a wayward bull's one thing. Bringing him home's another.
Boy, I never seen that before.
And when you found a way to lure him back, you head for the mountain. Bush. Head for the beer brewed natural as a mountain stream for a taste as smooth as its name. Bush. Head for Bush beer. Head for the mountains.
Bobby Cremins spending a timeout just a minute and a half into the second half.
Gutsy call, Dick. It's very embarrassing to be in halftime 20-25 minutes and have to call a timeout 90 seconds after you come out. But that was a call that was excellent.
40-35 Duke. Inside to Sally. He's fouled and he scores.
Sally just gave a simple head and shoulder fake that time. Got Jay Billis in the air. Could end up in a 3-point play.
Billis, the first man to pick up a third foul.
Here comes the fake. Up, go up Billis, come down on him. Continue to play. Anytime you hear a whistle, always shoot the ball towards the basket.
And Sally again, trouble with free throws. That has really cost Georgia Tech in this game. 40-37, Duke leads it. Allery, fall away. Oh, he's He's a good pure shooter. Mark Allery has 14-16.
He has great offensive moves before he gets the ball.
Rebound, Allery. He led both sides with 7 in the first half. Price, and what a play by Billis. Into Allery.
It's all Allery.
Tommy Amaker, and suddenly Duke leads by 9.
That's Amaker's first basket. He had a donut to them.
Foul on Billis before the shot. That'll be the 4th on Jay Billis.
Amaker hesitates, all of a sudden sees the crack in the defense, goes all the way.
Billis comes out. Freshman Danny Ferry is in. Billis leaves with 4 fouls. So they lose experience and bulk in that exchange. Georgia Tech is desperate for a basket. Biggest lead of the game, 46-37. Duke. Great feed to Dalrymple. Lost his man, and Price found him. 8 points for Dalrymple. 3.5 minutes gone, second half.
Amaker's telling them what to do. I'd get the ball into Allery's hands.
Johnny Dawkins. And at last touch, John Sally out of bounds to Duke.
Ripple has great moves down in the baseline. Loses this man the weak side there. Good delivery of the ball. I think Amaker has 8 points already in the second half, doesn't he, Dick?
He has only 2 points in the entire game.
Oh, no, I meant Allery.
David Henderson, 48-39. 8 points for Henderson.
Post up Dalrymple.
Burrell. Dawkins rebounds. Open man, Henderson. Sally with a great block. Allery follows Allery. 10 points in the second half. 20 in the game. And timeout. Georgia Tech.
Here goes Allery to go to double digits in 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Punctuating this Duke drive in the second half.
Mercedes-Benz was building sports sedans before there was such a term as sports sedan. Experience pays. The Mercedes-Benz 190 class. The heart of a sports sedan. The soul of a Mercedes-Benz. The 190 class. Something more than a sports sedan. Nothing less than a Mercedes-Benz.
At Delta, we could talk about our airplanes, some of the best maintained, most modern birds in the sky, or our schedules, over 1,500 flights a day worldwide, or our flight centers, the airports of the future. But none of that is as important as people. And when it comes to the Delta professionals, the people who make Delta as great as it is, well, one smile is worth 1,000 words. Delta gets you there.
All the excitement of college basketball is here when the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame battles Duke. College basketball. It's the stuff Sundays are made of on NBC.
Battle battle for number 2 today, Georgia Tech and Duke. And the next 4 Sundays, here's our lineup. The Atlantic Coast Conference with its tremendous strength, and we're going to follow it closely. Digger Phelps will bring the Irish in next Sunday to Duke. Then the following Sunday, North Carolina State. And then the final game of the regular season, North Carolina here at Duke. Duke is thinking if they could beat Georgia Tech today and keep everything else even, they'll get Carolina at the end of the year for first place. And then, of course, at Greensboro for the ACC championship here on NBC.
When we mentioned the great freshman in the first half of the ACC, I didn't mention Shackelford. Oh, my, there you are, Dixon.
Well, we've had plenty of those today. 16-6, Duke in the second half. Craig Neal in for the Yellow Jackets.
Gone to a 3-guard offense now, Georgia Tech.
Price, Dalrymple, and Neal with Sally and Farrell. No, it's Antoine Ford. Price, first shot of the second half, not close. Last touch by Duke. You wonder how much the leg is bothering Mark Price and how much the loss to Carolina. They said he really took the defeat roughly earlier this week against the Tar Heels. Stolen by Henderson. Duke is really shining on defense this second half.
Georgia Tech in the second half has been a little tentative.
Sally rebounding. Dawkins missed. Price brings it down. And he takes it all the way. Dawkins the other way. No basket. No basket. A foul before the shot.
Neil Craig reached in. Price commits himself too soon to the air this time. Watch. He should have taken one more dribble. Went up too soon and hung in the air.
No call there. There was contact, but tough to discern who did what to whom. Look at Price dig. And a foul is on Allery. Or is it on Price? Well, it is on Allery.
On Allery. He came down on Price's backside.
Well, Dawkins winning the scoring battle between these two great players. 50-39. Georgia Tech trails by 11. And Antoine Ford and Danny Ferry, a lot of bump and shove, so the official, Dick Paparo, say, hey, I could just call a foul on you every second. You got to ease up.
Hey, you guys, stop pushing each other.
Sally to Dalrymple inside. That play's worked twice in a row.
Caught Henderson again, turned his head.
10 points for Dalrymple.
Watch the quickness here of Dawkins.
Have been played in the second half. Oh, and by Price.
Pure steal that time.
Head up, keep your head away. Oh, what a play by Mark Price.
All I said is keep your head up, and he did. Outstanding steal. The steal was better than the acrobatic shot at the other end.
So Price with 8. That's the Duke lead to 7. Knocked away. And Neal, who made the defensive play, can't hit the basket, but he was fouled by Dawkins.
This is before. Watch how quick Mark Price steals this ball. Here we come. Reach in there, Mark. Wham! Strips the ball. Now watch him get going. He'll keep his head in the air. Going back. Let's go forward, pal. There we go. Keep his head in the air. Goes back to the weak side of the basket. Excellent. All-American.
Tommy Amaker committing his 3rd foul. Craig Neal, an excellent free throw shooter. In fact, that breaks a string Neal had made 19 in a row coming into this game today. Hitting 85%. (50-44). 5 unanswered points by the Jackets to cut the lead to 7. Billis. Dawkins to Billis. Stepped on the baseline. Traveled 2. So suddenly Duke playing carelessly. They've turned it over twice, and now a third consecutive trip down court turning it over. And a basket by Tech, and it's a 4-point game.
Well, got to fight for number 2 spot in the country here. So obviously, you can't let up any time with quality clubs like this. I get it back into Dalrymple down low. Sally wants it. There it is.
John Sally not there. Rebound Billis. 12.5 minutes left. 50-44 Duke. Dawkins. Rebound of Dalrymple. He had 4 the first half. Couple more in the second half. Neal from way out. Look at Dalrymple in there to rebound. Price has it stolen. And dual possession. It'll go to Duke.
Ever-present Bruce Dalrymple just keeps the ball alive.
Bobby Cremins, 38 in his 5th year at Georgia Tech. Mike Krzyzewski, it's his 6th year here at Duke. They came almost together. They both had great recruiting years 4 years ago. We're seeing the product of that effort in the wonderful senior play today.
And their run is not going to end. Both of these fellows are building dynasties. Very difficult to catch Dean Smith. It seems the better you get, the better he gets. But he sets the criterion for every other coach inside the ACC and maybe inside the country.
We'll see Carolina twice, as you saw 2 weeks from today at North Carolina State, 3 weeks from today here at Duke.
First zone that Duke is facing all day.
Henderson. Mark Price. Again, a chance for Georgia Tech to reduce the lead to 4.
Should have been a little more patient that time to facing man-to-man. Caught him off guard with his own.
Price, tough shot. Dawkins was right on him, and Henderson rebounds. Price is an outstanding shooter from outside, but not with a man right in your face like that.
But you know, Dick, he makes them a lot of times. He gets it going. Here's the zone again.
Dawkins says, I'll try. Henderson and a foul on Billis of Duke pushing off.
He pushed forward from the back.
That's 5 fouls, I believe, on Jay Billis. Yes, he's out. He leaves the game with 4 points.
This is a very difficult call here. Jay's shocked facial reaction wasn't too bad. Just before that Ford jumped, his hand was on Ford's back, but he wasn't pushing. Just a touch. We call that a high school foul. Feather foul. Tickle foul.
Billy King comes back in the lineup for Duke. Again, Georgia Tech in the advantage in terms of fouls, as it was in the first half when they were in the bonus but couldn't make the front end of a couple of 1-and-1s. And they now are only 2 fouls away from the bonus in the second half, while they've committed only 1 foul.
Off the weak side. See Allery just staying in the paint down low.
Corral travels. 10 minutes, 43 seconds left.
Got to get the ball to Allery. He's the man with the hot hand.
Allery leads ball scorers with 20.
1-2-2. The ball is a 3-2. Don't want the ball to go inside to Allery.
Dawkins. Call that a finger roll. 14 for Dawkins as we approach the midpoint of the second half. 10:03, 10:02. 10 minutes left.
Bobby Grimmett says he's the best ball player he has. I doubt that, but that's what he says.
Athletic talent.
No, he says ball player.
That is a surprise.
Because I said the same thing when he told me it a month or so ago.
Dawkins over Price. Neal saves it for Tech. Foul on Price. Henderson draws the charge.
Excellent move by Henderson. Legal, absolutely legal. He set up. Watch how quickly Henderson sets up for the charge. There he is. Mark was going so fast he could not change direction. There they are. The old college tribe. Now the young fellas out there are drying up the wet spots because both fellas are sweating and it gets slippery out there. So those people are usually managers. They're usually sons of the faculty or the coaching staff.
Mark Allery showing some of the wear and tear of battle. Duke has scored only 2 points in the last 6 minutes plus, as you can see. And yet they still lead by 6.
They've been on cruise control. Forgot how they got here with Allery.
Amaker. Beautiful move by Amaker to leave his man and get the 8-footer. Burrell. Ooh, this is an easy one. Henderson has it knocked away. Allery to Dawkins. Charging Dawkins. His second.
Dawkins should have pulled up that time. The numbers weren't right.
I think many of the comments you've made about Price really are applicable to Dawkins. They both are over-trying.
Now they're both Super Bowl players, and
beating the challenge.
No doubt they're both All-Americans. Whether they're first team or not, I'm not sure. There's so many great guards in the country. This Scott Skiles from Michigan State. Wow. The kid from UAB.
Mitchell.
And you go to Wagner from Louisville and on and on. Alfred from Indiana. Alfred was All-American 2 years ago. And he's still an All-American.
Underneath Dalrymple. Fouled by Mark Allery. And that's his third.
If they're going to get back in the game, they're 8 down now. This is the guy that's going to bring them back in the ball game.
You know, that must have been some church team in New York. Riverside Church AAU. They had Bruce Dalrymple, Ernie Myers at NC State, and Kenny Smith at Carolina on a church league team. Dalrymple gets 1 out of 2. It's 54-47.
Well, that church team, Dick, they didn't need God to coach it.
Pushing and shoving underneath, and the foul is on Billy King of Duke. That is, of course, Duke has been in the bonus of their fouls, 7+, and so Georgia Tech will go to the line. And again, Tech has committed only 2 fouls in this second half.
What happens is you get down to the stretch. Tech can be more aggressive defensively and try to catch a couple of turnovers because they foul, they only get the ball out. They don't go to the 1-1. Now, Georgia Tech got to make the first end of these fouls if they want to stay in the game.
Check it, the foul was not on King, but on Allery, his 4th. Novelis is fouled out. Allery, the game's leading scorer, saddled with 4. And Sally, who's had trouble at the line, hits a key front end of the 1-1.
Shadow shooting there. That shot was not put up good that time. Lucky it went in. Has to get the ball with a higher trajectory. A little better.
56-49. Duke's lead is carved to 7. We have 7 minutes, 29 seconds left. Unusual foul situation in this game. Often it's a team behind that has committed more fouls, but not today. Only 6 fouls, 4 of those in the first half by Tech, 2 in the second half, while Duke fouled 9 times the first half and 8 times here in the second half, and yet it hasn't hurt Duke. Apparently, thus far, they lead by 7.
You know, sometimes, Dick, Georgia Tech, it happens very rarely, but Georgia Tech at the end of the game could be looking to foul people to put them on the line, and they haven't used up their fouls, and Duke will get the ball out of bounds. But I think it's an advantage if Georgia Tech now would start being more aggressive and start digging into that too. Commit 4 more fouls before you get to the 1-on-1, and by committing those 4 fouls, you might get 1 steal that's kind of half a foul and half a steal.
Right. 56-49, 7.5 minutes left. Duke trying to go 22-2 and stay right on the heels of North Carolina.
North Carolina has to come here and will be here with NBC.
Oops. Anderson, Lucky, Amaker, open. Tommy Amaker hit 6 points all in the second half.
The quiet one comes in with a big basket. For that big guy. Just a freshman out at DeMatha High School. Making what we say, go to the max.
6'10", 230. His dad, the general manager of the Washington Bullets, played 10 years in the NBA with the Hawks and Pistons and Bullets.
You need 2 or 3 guys there if the ferry falls down. He's such a big guy to dry it up.
Krzyzewski winning quite a recruiting battle, probably his first scalp over Dean Smith. They both won at Ferry, and it was a surprise when he elected to come here to Duke.
A lot of discipline like Bobby Knight, but he bends more. Like Bobby Knight will never put a zone in. Where Coach K will put a zone in, will bend according to the game and the movements in the game throughout the years.
See Duke starting today, only a half game behind North Carolina.
About 15 seconds this time. Let's count them. 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009. It's just getting boring, Dick.
Yes.
Okay, I'll stop. They'll lead up 20, 25 seconds. Don't worry about it.
Over the portal going into the Duke coaching quarters was a sign defense. And Krzyzewski's team today, if they win, it will be because of their defense. Second effort. Dawkins scores. He has 16. Again, Duke back on top by 11. Burrell. Rebound, Henderson. Billy King. Oh, my! They lost in North Carolina, then they went down to Atlanta, lost to Georgia Tech. Now it's reversed. Earlier in the week, Georgia Tech had Carolina on the ropes. A tremendous comeback, and the Tar Heels won in overtime. And now a possible possible double dose the other way, and Carolina right in the thick of it.
Well, what happens in these type of things, that's why Bobby Crimmins put in a softie, University of Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, the game that Duke plays next is Denson out of Florida. So when they're making their schedules, it takes months and months of jockeying. And remember, the heavyweights call the shot. It's an honor for the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, to play Georgia Tech, and it's an honor for Stetson to play Duke.
But they'll make room.
They'll make room, but they'll squeeze you in. If in case they lose the game, they can build up confidence. That's what Georgia Tech tried to do against UNC, whatever it is.
Good play by Farrell after Hammonds made both free throws. Price to Farrell, out of bounds off Berry. 62-51. Duke leads it with 5:18 left. A very tightly played first half with a lead changing hands and 8 ties. 3-point lead, the biggest for Tech, 4 for Duke. In the second half, it's been all Blue Devils. Price finally hits one from the side. He has 10.
Need a turnover. You see a lot of pressure up court. He comes to the trap.
Stolen by Neal.
Price will probably shoot again once he hit that shot.
Farrell. Price saves. Oh, he has quick hands. Sally. Hammonds. This is an easy one. Berry to Dawkins the other way. Johnny Dawkins.
That's a disco move that he does when he goes down there.
18 for Dawkins. I don't think there's a better player in college ball with that move. Getting in the air, knifing through, avoiding the charge, and making the scooper. With this one to music, Johnny Dawkins.
Watch him drop his head all of a sudden as he starts his disco move. There's a shake and bake there. Now he drops 3 punches.
Duke leads it. Allery with 4 fouls returns for the Devils.
Now they're in a must situation. They can't foul. They only committed 3 fouls, so they can overplay defensively. There's the trap right there. Dawkins will take it through and keep his dribble alive.
Look at his ability to hang on to the ball.
He did 2 360s that time.
He uses such a high dribble. It's incredible how he has such good control. Most good men with the ball keep the ball low to the floor.
They'll now go to, everyone has the 4 corners, but they do it different. They'll keep the ball in the high percentage foul shooter's hand.
Less than 4 minutes remain.
Watch the back door now.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Allery. 6-8 from outside. Allery's had a big game. 24 points. His all-time high is 29 in his 4 years here at Duke. King to Dawkins. Think they're happy in Durham?
Eight long years of development are over. Introducing the new Mercedes-Benz 300E. It moves from 0 to 55 in a stunning 7.5 seconds. It moves performance sedan engineering into a new dimension. And it returns to 0 with computerized ABS anti-lock brakes. The new 300E sedan.
You're reaching deep inside you, so things you've never known. It's been tough, rough going, but you haven't gone alone.
We do more before 9 a.m. than most people do all day.
Hey, First Sergeant. Good morning.
Find your future in the Army.
Hello, I'm Scott Hamilton, and today on NBC Sports World, I'll be competing against some of the greatest professional ice skaters in what has become an annual classic, the World Professional Figure Skating Championship. coming up later today on NBC Sports World.
And 20 seconds remain. Duke apparently is going to win this one. 68-53 the score. Mike Krzyzewski's team has played a brilliant second half defensively against Georgia Tech. As you think about the half, Coach, there's hardly been an open, uncontested shot for the Yellow Jackets. Everything they've tried, they've had a man right on them.
Well, Coach K, one of his main things is his defensive coaching. In the second half, I don't know how many field goals. The first half, Georgia Tech had 14. The second half, they only got 7 field goals, and they have played 16 minutes and 40 seconds. That's Big D. It might be written right in there with that Big D, Dallas.
Final four site this year, Dalrymple. And dual possession. The arrow goes to Tech.
Time for anything fancy. You just got to jack it up.
Reach-in foul.
I think that's all she wrote.
Allen disqualified, the second Duke player to foul out. He leaves with a game-high 24.
Outstanding game. Didn't see the ball that much. If they kicked the ball into him, he'd probably have about 38.
Allery is Duke's top field goal shooter, hitting nearly 59%, and he showed that today against Tech.
Well, he gives you the inside and the outside game. When he moves outside, you got to come out on him. And he has a pro career ahead of him, an outstanding one.
Sally looking for his 14th point. 3 for 7 from the line. 68-54 the score with exactly 3 minutes left.
You know, as I said at the top of the show, it's kind of a wild statement, but I think that Dawkins and Amaker are the best backcourt combination in college over the last 10 years.
Oh, that's really a strong statement.
The only thing they lack is size. The two of them are around 160 pounds, so together they're 320 or 325 pounds. But if the only thing you can do with them is post them up.
Craig Neal, reach-in foul. That's only the 4th foul on Georgia Tech in the second half. Oh, they'll play it from the side. Mike Krzyzewski, his mother lives in Chicago, and she trades some baked goods to Bob Knight to get tickets to see Indiana when they play at Northwestern.
Bobby probably still charged it.
Hey, he's got to be happy. He's in a tie for first place with Michigan in the Big Ten.
Great job this year. He doesn't have that much material. Obviously, if you got Steve Alford, you got the one player you need to build around. But he has a lot of young people, and he started this year going to a junior college kid, so maybe it's a new Bobby Knight system.
Burrell with the foul, the 5th on Tech. 2:45 left. And there, Dalrymple gives another.
Now, the reason they call 1 and 1 and not 2, normally if the foul is on the man that has the ball, they call 1 and 1. If the foul is on the man that does not have the ball, then they call it a 2-shot foul, normally.
Well, Billy King, who is their worst free throw shooter, Dukes, comes out, and Krzyzewski sends in Quinn Snyder, the freshman guard, so he wants good free throw shooters on there because that's what Georgia Tech's going to do. That's called a 2-shot foul.
It's the right call, Sally, because you're 7 feet. And logically, you wouldn't be covering the guy that's below 6 feet. That's why it's a 2-shot foul.
I don't quite read that logic.
Well, if he turns around, he's covering Danny Ferry, say, and he hits Danny Ferry in the same situation, it'd be a 1 and 1.
You know what?
He's going out at the Tiny Tim.
You know what? You're probably right.
For change.
Snyder, boy, were they heartbroken when this young man left Seattle. Marv Hartsman retiring at Washington. They had not hired Russo as the new head coach, and so Snyder came here to Duke.
I wonder if he bought his raincoat.
69-55, Hammonds to Sally. 69-57, Sally with 15. He leads
ball on the sidelines, and then watch his running mate again save the ball.
Took a little luck. The ball goes right to Dawkins.
Right on the line, he saved it. Ref is right there. Good position.
Dawkins, 20 points today over his average. Talk about consistency. Dawkins in his 4 years here has averaged 18-1, 19-4, 18-8, and 18-7. And that's a range of 18-1 to 19-4 every year. Mark Price hammers one in from outside, and it's a 10-point game, 69-59. 2 minutes left.
Get the ball in the little guy's hands, pull it back out, Hamilton will pull it back out, melt the clock. It's only important to win. How many you win by doesn't make any difference.
Foul on Price.
That'll be a 1-and-1. That will. Let's see. It should be about 1-and-1.
Fourth on Price. Boy, if you could only bottle the energy of a college basketball crowd. These kids have not sat down in the lower level the entire game. It must be about 95 degrees in here, at least where we're sitting up in the roof. Many waited 24, 48 hours, camped out, had a student friend save a place while they went to class, slept outside to assure themselves seats for this battle.
You know, yesterday we were up at Champaign. I took a walk back to get a cup of coffee, and there were cheerleaders, there were pom-pom girls, and band members, and reporters in the school paper. Basketball brings more to the school than just the game. The surrounding activities, extracurricular activities, keeps hundreds of students active and part of it.
Sally with his third foul with 1 minute and 36 seconds left. So at day's end, North Carolina, having played 2 less games, will be in a virtual tie with Duke. Although Carolina figures to be right there to challenge Duke in the final game of the regular season for the conference championship. Georgia Tech, a tough week, losing 2, will drop back a notch. But what an outstanding team this is. And they just ran into a defensive buzzsaw. Mark Price, boy, he's on the floor as much as any kid in the country. Let's go back to the standings in this Atlantic Coast Conference.
Dick, I'll tell you something. Those top 5 are in the NCAA.
Even Virginia?
Oh, Virginia's in automatic. Virginia's in. Forget about it. Larry, don't even worry about it. You're in. I think you also might see either Maryland or Clemson.
Who's Larry?
Larry who? Oh, Terry. I meant Terry.
Well,
Larry's a good friend of mine.
He was checking his birth certificate, Terry Holland.
Thomas Jefferson up there in Charlottesville. The lawn.
Minute and a half remains. Turnover. Dalrymple with the ball, looking for some help. Dalrymple. Perry. Oh, it's been a cold half for Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech might have to change its style a little bit against thoroughbreds because of their bench being so short. They don't get much out of Ford. They go to Noodles, but Craig doesn't have that much strength. They might have to play a little slower game somewhere in the first half and somewhere in the second half just to stay physically fit for their run at the end of the game.
NBC Sports World Apollo, from the electricity of this fast-paced college basketball game to the grace and the beauty and delightful charm of the world's greatest figure skaters. Many of you feel that that's one of the top shows of the entire sports year. From Landover, Maryland, a sellout crowd to see the best in the world figure skating competition. Dawkins adding 2 more to run his total to 22 in the game. Final minute. Tom Hammonds. Foul on Sally over the back.
That was out of frustration.
His fourth.
Number 22, John Sally. Got to start writing our Valentine's, Dick.
Right, we want to thank John Gonzalez and David Neal, our director and our producer, our statisticians, Dr. Dennis Enberg and Ross Slingshot Snyderman. It's not as close as we thought coming in, Al, but many times it was a sweetheart of a game.
Ooh! Give the credit to Allery. We talked a lot about Dawkins and Amaker and company, but Allery put on that one spurt that just blew him out of there.
I still would underline defense for Duke being the big score, the big difference. They out-defended Allery on the bench. 49 seconds left. The hand is for Henderson as he comes in. Kevin Strickland replaces him. So Bobby Kremen's team hoping that they might take over first place with a win earlier in the week and had North Carolina down. Couldn't put them away. Lost in overtime. And now the week becomes even longer as Duke defeats them today. Kevin Strickland has entered the game. That was Quinn Snyder that was fouled.
I think we're very fortunate the game's coming to an end. It's so hot here, the floor is getting extremely slippery, and someone could get hurt out there.
Smile from Allery. John Smith goes in for Danny Ferry. And Dick Krzyzewski's setting the scene for the right moment to bring in a man for Johnny Dawkins. Here comes the crowd favorite, the man they call Puma, Martin Nestle, 7'2". Out of bounds. Nestle comes in. Dawkins goes out to a standing ovation. Final seconds tick away. 35 seconds left. Snyder not there. Dalrymple. Snyder keeps it alive, and the foul is on Snyder.
The student body here is remarkable. See Nestle there, he's 7'1" or 7'2". He's about 260 pounds, and he doesn't have a lot of movement, so the student body call him Puma, the cat.
You could hear him coming a mile away. Dalrymple looking for his 12th point. Williams rebounds. Gets it ahead. Kevin Strickland off to John Smith. John Smith, freshman from Fort Washington, Maryland, gets in the scoring parade. 75-59. Rebound Williams. It's all over. Duke impressively beats Georgia Tech 75-59. And we'll return to Durham right after this.
They gave it a 4-cylinder, 16-valve jewel of an engine and the most sophisticated suspension outside the racing world, and even a rear aerodynamic wing. Then they gave it a name, the Mercedes-Benz 2.316. And the rest is performance history, or soon will be. Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world.
So Duke ahead by only 1 at halftime, outscores Georgia Tech by 15 in the second half to win it. Now everyone's going to say Duke, North Carolina. First game, Carolina won over there, 95-92. What do you think?
The game, I'll tell you something. If Duke is playing against the Boston Celtics at Cameron Stadium here, I got to go with Duke. Happy Valentine's Day.
So long from Durham, North Carolina.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies.
History.